comment, subscribe. It'll make me happy. Hey, welcome back to Ain't No Bassmaster. Today I'm here at the Bassmatic 5000, and the other day I was out fishing on a lake. It was one of the electric only lakes that I fish at, and I had been out there probably like 6 hours or something like that, and all of a sudden the front sonar up here, the screen on it started flickering. So I went through some troubleshooting, checking the cable connections and stuff like that. And of course, my mind immediately went to the LCD backlight was starting to go up on the unit. Luckily, I figured out eventually that it was the battery, and that by turning off my console sonar unit back there, I was able to have enough power to run my front sonar. So anyway, that whole experience made me think, well, maybe I should do a video on battery maintenance and testing your battery, troubleshooting it. So that's what I wanted to do today. So I think the first thing to keep in mind when trying to test a battery, to check on its state of health or its level of charge, is to know the voltage range for your particular type of battery, because different batteries have different voltage ranges for fully charged all the way down to practically not charged at all. And I'm putting those up on the screen right now. So as you can see, the newer lithium batteries that people are starting to switch to, they actually have a higher voltage at full charge than if you see the other chart I'm putting up, your traditional lead acid batteries or even your AGM batteries. At full charge they have a lower voltage, somewhere like around roughly 12.7 to 12.8 or a little higher, as opposed to the lithium batteries, which at full charge they're around 13.7 volts roughly. So that's the first thing you need to know, is you need to know what the proper voltage is for the type of battery you have. And in my case, on my boat, I've got both kinds of batteries. Up front here, I have two lithium batteries connected in series for 24 volts to power my trolling motor. And then in the back of the boat, I have a group size 24 lead acid battery, a starter battery, cranking battery, that I also run all of my accessories in the boat off of, including the two depth finders. I did want to say a quick word about the lithium batteries. Some of the lithium batteries actually come with Bluetooth, and within the BMS, the battery management system in the battery, they have battery monitoring, which is usually done through an app, and I'll show you that right here for my boat. So hopefully you can see that. This is the battery monitoring app for my lithium batteries. As you can see, right now it's connected to one of the batteries. It shows you all of the information you would want to know about the health of the battery. Now, not all lithium batteries come with this feature, and if you're thinking about buying a battery that does have the Bluetooth and the battery monitoring, you also need to make sure that the manufacturer states that the batteries can be connected in series, which is the way they're connected on my boat. The two 12-volt batteries are connected in series to equal 24 volts. So if you're looking to buy lithium batteries for a 24 volt or higher system trolling motor, you want to make sure that it says that those batteries can be connected in series, because there are some out there that for whatever reason they're only able to be connected in parallel. One other thing with the lithium batteries is if they don't come with the Bluetooth monitoring app, there are add-on modules that you can add to them, and I'll put a link or links in the description down below. There's a company called Victron that makes a Bluetooth enabled battery monitor that you can install on each of your batteries, and then they also make a more expensive monitoring device called a smart Shunt, and that does similar function but has more features to it that you can monitor through the Victron app to get all of the health related and charge related information you would want to get for your battery. So assuming you don't have some sort of onboard battery monitoring system, or the built-in Bluetooth or something like that, there are a couple things you can use to check on the charge state and the health state of your batteries, and I've got those right here. This first one is just a basic battery monitoring tool from Minn Kota, and it's just going to tell you in general terms the charge of your battery, the charge state. Next one is a multimeter. You can use a multimeter to also check the voltage of your battery and get information on it. And then the third item is a battery load tester, and I got this one from Harbor Freight for, I don't know, it was like $15 or something like that. And that basically it puts a load on the battery and lets you know how well the battery is able to handle that load. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the back of the boat here to where my cranking and accessories battery is, and show you each of these and talk a little bit more about them and just the battery health in general. Alright, here we are at the back of the boat now, and we're at my starting / accessories battery. You can see everything connected on there. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this Minn Kota battery tester, and you can see it gives you basically like 3 different states of charge: 0, 1/3, 2/3, and full, and it'll also give you a voltage reading, so that's kind of helpful. The top part here, and there's a little plus on there to indicate it. This is the positive side, and then down here where the squiggly wire is leading off of that black lead is the negative side. So what you do is you just take this negative lead here and rest it on the negative terminal, and then over here you're going to take this positive lead and put it on the positive terminal, and as you can see, all 4 lights lit up. The fully charged light is green, and it's also telling me that the charge state on the battery is 12.9 volts. So that's a fully charged battery right there. Next up, I'm going to show you guys the voltmeter. So this is a voltmeter. It's a pretty inexpensive one. I got it at Home Depot, and they're all a little bit different, but they all have a setting for, on this one right here next to the off button where my thumb is, that's going to be alternating current. And then the one next to it, it's kind of like it's also a V, and then it's got like a dotted line and a solid line. That's the symbol for direct current. So that's what we want. We want to test direct current voltage. So just going to start out by turning on the voltmeter over to direct current, and you can see it's at 0. So just going to take the negative probe, and I'm trying to figure out a way to do this. I'll set the voltmeter down here, hopefully, so you can see it. I'm going to go ahead and take the negative probe, again, put it on the negative side, and take the positive probe and put it on the positive side. For this one, it's not very specific for the DC voltage reading, but hopefully you can see it there. It's telling me that it's reading 12 volts of DC current, so that's what we want. There's another setting on this one where I can turn it up to the next setting and it'll give me a more precise voltage reading. So go ahead, I'm going to put it on that setting. Again, I'm going to connect the negative to the negative terminal and the positive to the positive terminal. And now it's going back and forth between 13 and 12.99, which is pretty close to what the Minn Kota battery tester was saying. But in any event, if it's 12.7, 12.8 or higher, then it's at a full charge. So that's how you can check your state of charge with a voltage meter. The next item I wanted to demonstrate for you in order to determine the health of your battery is this battery load tester. So as you can see, on the left hand side there's a negative terminal, and on the right hand side there's a positive terminal, almost like the terminal connectors for jump starting your battery. And then in the center of it here is the meter part, and it's kind of hard to see with my camera, but it gives you a gauge going from bad to weak to good, basically red to yellow to green. The first smaller set is for a 6-volt battery, and then the bigger set to the right is for 12-volt batteries. So one thing you need to know for this is you need to know, it's hard to see on here, but in that green area there is markings for the number of cold cranking amps that your battery is rated for. And I already looked at my battery, and it's rated for 400 cold cranking amps. So there is a portion of the green there for 400 that when I run this test, if the needle is in there, then it passed the test. It's still a good battery. And the way this works, and I'm going to show you in a second, is I'm going to connect the negative terminal obviously to the negative side, and then the positive terminal to the positive side. And then down here there's a toggle switch. You toggle the switch for 5 seconds or so, and the needle's going to go up and give you a reading, and that lets you know how well your battery is able to handle a load, which is an indicator of its health, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get the camera set up so I can go ahead and run that test, and then I'll be right back. One thing I did want to say is that it's really a best practice to disconnect everything from your battery first before running this, but I don't want to go through that hassle for this video, so I'm just going to go ahead and run the test real quick to show you with everything connected to my battery. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I've got the cables from this load tester hooked up and just verified everything's correct. That's always important. Negative here is connected to the negative side, positive connected to the positive side. One other thing I did want to point out with some of these load testers, including this one, I don't know if you can see it, but the the needle has moved. Once you hook it up, the needle actually moves. And right now it's showing it's like at about 13 volts. You know, it's fluctuating a little bit, which is consistent with the reading I got from my multimeter and also from the Minn Kota battery tester. So as soon as you hook it up, it tells you what the voltage state is on the battery. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to flip this toggle switch down here and hold it for like about 5 seconds, and you'll see the needle move, and I'll get a reading as to its health as far as handling a load. So here we go. Okay. I don't know if you could see that or not, but under load, it moved down to about 11 volts, and if you look on here for a battery with 400 cold cranking amps, which is what mine is, 11 is the lower end, but within the green acceptable range on this load tester. So all indications from this load tester is that this battery is still in a range that it is considered, you know, decent. So the battery is still more or less good. So one other thing I wanted to talk to you about in terms of, you know, determining the state of health of your battery, and it's not tool related. I guess it's kind of environmental factor related. When you're charging your battery, if your battery will never really get to a full charge, that's an environmental variable. That, for lack of a better term, I'm going to call it that. That your battery is starting to die, and that it should be replaced if it just really never will get to a totally full charge. Another thing, and this, I've noticed this on my battery. I'm going to put the camera down here so you can see it. That kind of shiny area right there, that's actually some seepage coming from the battery, and it's also here, and that is not a good sign. That can be an indication of overcharging, which in my case, I have a Noco onboard charger, which you know, it has a feature in it where it will not overcharge batteries. In fact, it's got a repair feature as well, so it's a pretty decent charger. It can charge lithiums, it can charge AGMs, lead acid batteries, it can charge all different kinds of batteries. So that has me concerned a little bit, because when I was out the other day, you know, the only thing I was running off this battery was my depth finders, and I had thought I had fully charged it the night before. So there really wasn't any reason for it to lose a full charge in my mind. So, you know, this battery is good enough for now, I think, but it may be replaced soon, maybe with a lithium dual purpose cranking and deep cycle battery. We'll see. One last thing I wanted to show you, I'm going to move over to one of my depth finders here in a second, and show you another feature that you should be able to program on most of your depth finders out there today, to kind of give you an early warning that maybe something might be wrong with the state of charge of your battery or its battery health. So I'll be right back in a second. Alright, so here we are over at my console depth finder. You can see right now it's in side scan mode and it's not finding anything, obviously. I don't want to leave this on too long because it's not good for the transducer to run outside the water. But in any event, this is actually how I kind of got clued in when I had the problem out on the water with the front depth finder that maybe it was a battery issue. So one of the things I programmed on here, and I'm going to zoom in down here to the bottom, right there it says V power supply or V supply. So that's the voltage supply coming into this depth finder, and you can see right now it's fluctuating back and forth between like 12.3, 12.4. It was actually, when I turned it on a minute ago, it was actually a little bit higher. It was like closer to 12.7. So this is a Lowrance depth finder, but I'm pretty sure probably all mod, and you know, it's not a very, it's an entry-level depth finder. It's a hook reveal, so I'm sure probably all modern, you know, depth finders of every brand have a way for you to configure the interface to show the voltage power supply coming into the depth finder. At the time I had the problem on the lake, I did not have that set on the front one. Of course, it didn't do me much good because the screen was flickering on and off. But in any event, the way I figured out it was the battery was, I just happened to peek back at this one, and I noticed that the V supply, the incoming voltage supply to the depth finder, was reading something crazy like 9.5 or something like that, really low. So what I did was I ended up turning off this depth finder, and then I powered on the one up front, and it ran without, you know, flickering or anything for the, you know, the remaining 20 minutes I was out on the lake. So if you go in and you program the voltage power supply on your depth finders, if you happen to glance down at it and you see that the voltage supply is low or it's decreasing, that's an indication to you that the battery is starting to discharge down and losing its charge. So that can be an early indication to you that you might have a problem with your battery. Well, that concludes this video. I hope you found some of that information at least helpful. You know, I'm not an expert by any means on batteries or anything like that, but you know, I have had my fair share of problems out on the water, whether it's been trolling motor problems or battery problems. So I just thought, you know, doing this video and talking about some ways that you can monitor your batteries to prevent that, or when you're out there and you're trying to figure out why your depth finders won't work, you know, some quick steps you can take to try to troubleshoot whether or not it's the battery as the source of the problem. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.